Lexis, Unit 2. First of all is the definition of it. What is Lexis? Lexis refers to individual words or sets of words. For example, tree, get up, first of all is well, that ends well. For example, units of vocabulary which have a specific meaning. So, what is Lexis? It's a units of vocabulary which have a specific meaning. As in the example they have given to you, like tree. So tree has a meaning. It has a shape. And when we say tree, that thing comes in our mind, and that is how we understand its meaning. Get up, so it's an action. A verb get up, when we use that, so then it is a particular action we do in that. First of all, likewise, all is well, that ends well. So some are words, some are combination of words, some are phrases, some are in sentences. So that's what is the Lexis all about. Can somebody tell me if we want to say Lexis in general English? Commonly, we want to make somebody understand what's Lexis. So Lexis is a technical name. What it would be? That name is available in this definition, the general one. Can somebody point out to me what Lexis means? What's the word in general speaking we say Lexis? Can somebody point out? Anyone? Yes? Kalpana? Pushpa Kumari? Now you people are on my screen. On my screen I can see only Suraji, Mayuri, Kalpana, Pushpa Kumari. So I am going to ask from you. Yes. Is there any name, by looking to this definition, you can tell me? Yes? Alright. It is vocabulary. Lexis mean vocabulary. Okay? We teach vocabulary, and vocabulary is important part of teaching language. There are three things which are important areas of the language when we teach. One is grammar, second is vocabulary, the third is function, how to use the language. So these three things we follow when we teach language. Now we will go to the key concepts. Key concepts in every unit you will have, that is the main topic area what we discuss in a unit. Alright, key concepts, like you see, we often speak of meanings of words. We talk about words and meanings. That's the usual thing when we discuss about the language. In fact, words have different kinds of meaning, and the words, they don't have one meaning, they have different meanings. There is the meaning that describes the things or idea behind the vocabulary item. For example, tree is a large plant with a wooden trunk, branches and leaves. When we say tree, so the meaning comes and the shape comes that there is a large plant having a wooden trunk and branches and leaves. That's the shape visualized in our mind, and we understand the meaning of tree when we say. But the tree, it's not used in one way. It is one, its original meaning, and the other is different ways we use this meaning. That's we are going to discuss here. You see here, when we say a tree is a large plant with a wooden trunk, branches and leaves, this meaning is called denotation. Note it down, denotation. And we speak of denotative meanings. Then there is figurative meaning. We speak of, for example, tree of life. So when we say tree of life, we are saying something different than the original tree, which has a large trunk, a large plant with a wooden trunk and branches and leaves. Am I right? So there is difference between these two meanings. The first meaning is called denotative meaning. Denotative meaning, we also call its original meaning. And the second, where we say tree of life or family tree, you see here, okay, this is called imaginative meaning comes from. This is imaginative meaning. It's not the original meaning, but it's different from the words denotative meaning. There is also a meaning, it's also caught in the context situation. So here you see denotative meaning, and then comes the figurative meaning. Those who have the books with you, underline that in the books or highlight it. And the first paragraph, it's all about these two words. One is denotation, second is figurative. Now I make you understand what is figurative meaning. Some of you already may know it, and for those if it is not clear, it's like we give an example of something. For example, we say, I saw a lion in the zoo. So when I say, I saw a lion in the zoo, this is one meaning of the lion. But if I say, he is brave like a lion, that is a second meaning, which is not the original lion meaning, because I am comparing or the similarity of braveness of somebody with the lion braveness, because lion is famous for his bravery. All right. So when I say I saw a lion in the zoo, it is the original meaning I am talking. But if I say he is like a lion, that is the figurative meaning I am talking about. So this is what they talk about in this first paragraph: denotative meaning and figurative meaning. Is this two things clear to you? Are these two things clear to you? Raise your thumbs if it is clear to you. I can't see any thumbs. On the second side, Chamodi, Malsha, Pathali, they have put on the thumbs up. But I think Suraji, Mayuri also got the thumb. Suraji, can't you find your thumb? Not the thumb which is on your hand. The thumb on your screen, you will find it in the reactions. Right. Fine, that's how you got it. So I hope this meaning is clear to you. Okay, now our topic is what? Our topic is words and its meaning. And there are different ways in which we understand the words and its meaning. One is the original meaning of a word. If you check that in the dictionary, so you will see the first meaning in the dictionary which they give, that is the original meaning of the word. Then there will be second meaning, there will be third meaning, there will be fourth, fifth, sometimes 8, 10, 12 meanings are there of a word. Then the other meaning of the words which are mentioned, we can use that word in those meanings as well. But the original meaning, it's the first one which is mentioned in the dictionary. So likewise, what happens with this process? With this process, we are extending the use of words in different ways. And for the second meaning of the word, usually it depends on the situation. In a different situation, it means different. That is why sometimes with the second, third meaning of a word, people are confused. Okay? So it comes in the intermediate, upper intermediate, advanced level when we are able to use one word for different things in different situations. Right. So you can read it on your own about this further in the paragraph. You will understand. That is the main thing. That is first. Now we will go to the second paragraph. Here you see The meaning of some vocabulary items can also come from their form. Now, I'm not going to explain you what form is, because form we will discuss in the grammar area. Okay? For example, from prefixes, suffixes, or compounds. Now, you know very well prefixes and suffixes what they are. Compounds also you know well. Compounds are nouns made from two or more separate words. Adding prefixes or suffixes to base words. What is base words? Base words are the basic words or part of a word from which other words can be made. Base word is the original word. Then you do a fixation of it. What is a fixation? A fixation, you can see it here in the 5th or 6th line where I am pointing out. That is called a fixation. What is a fixation? A fixation is the process of adding prefix to a word or a suffix to a word. That is called a fixation. So, what happens with the by adding a prefix or a suffix with a word to the base word? The meaning of the word changes. Like if you see here, unsafe. So, safe is the base word. We have put a prefix un there, and unsafe has a different meaning than the safe. Likewise, legal, and we have put a suffix there, illegal. So the meaning changes. So this is another way of getting more meaning of a word when we add a prefix or a suffix with that. All right. Then comes here which we call compound nouns. You see here, compound nouns get their meanings from being together. Compound nouns we make mix up two nouns and we make another word. All right. What happens in that? If you see telephone number, number is a different thing, different noun, telephone is another, but when we say telephone number, we mean something different. We name the number which is only a telephone for the telephone you can use. Otherwise, you have a house number, you have a building number, you have a vehicle number, you have a passport number, you have an ID number. But that one is different when we say telephone number, is a different one. Likewise, if you see a bookshop, so book is a noun, shop is a noun. When we put it together, we have a different meaning than book and shop. All right. So that is how is the second way where we make more meaning of the words by adding suffix or a prefix. The process of adding a suffix or a prefix is called a fixation. And the third way is compound nouns, where we put two nouns together and we get another meaning of the word. All right. So is this clear? A fixation and compound nouns. If it is clear, please give me thumbs. All right. Malsha, where is your thumb? Vatsala? Lakmini, Ruvindi, and somebody has written the name in Sinhala. I don't understand. Right. Good. So, if these two paragraphs are clear, we will go to the third paragraph. And now in the third paragraph, what we see, there are also words that regularly occur together. Occur together means comes together. They happen to be together in language, such as collocations. Have you heard of that? Some you might have heard. Collocation mostly are used in upper intermediate and advanced language. Fixed expressions and idioms. So these three things we will talk about now. First of all, collocations. Collocations are words that often occur together. You can highlight this area or note it down with you. For example, to take a holiday, heavy rain, arrive at, depend on. So these are the example of collocations. When we say depend with the on, it has a specific meaning. All right? And likewise, if we say heavy rain, heavy and rain, it has a different meanings and it comes together. So instead of heavy, if you see, we can we say large rain? There was a large rain last night. We don't say like that. Although, if you say heavy, so for the heavy we can use a similar word like enormous or big. It almost come in the same meanings. But we do not use that. We say heavy rain. We don't say big rain. We don't say enormous rain. So that's what is the characteristic of collocations. Collocations, when we put together two words and it has a specific meaning. So that is called collocations. Likewise, this paragraph is about the collocation. You can just further read it and you will understand if this point is clear to you. Collocation point is clear to you? Give me a thumb, please.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
Fine. Ruvindi, your thumb is not there. Lakmini has raised the thumb. All right, got it. Thank you. So the next paragraph we talk about two things, which is fixed expression and idioms. Okay. So Raji, you want to ask a question? You raise your hand. Okay. I think it might be by Raji, your voice is breaking up. Your voice is breaking up, Suraji. I couldn't understand it. You can send me a message. You type a message there because your voice was breaking up.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, it is clear now. Can you tell me what you want to ask?
Actually, no, sir. It's by mistake it has come to the screen.
Right,
No, I don't want to ask anything.
All right, no worries then. So we will go to the next 2 points, which is fixed expressions and idioms. Now, what is fixed expression? Fixed expressions are expressions which can't be changed. Those expressions we say in the same way, we don't change them. For example, to tell you the truth, we say like that. Well, or to be honest, or to tell you the truth. These are fixed expressions which we use and we say it the same way if we write or we talk, okay? Like newborn, okay? It's up to you. Now you see newborn. Now newborn baby we say, all right? So we do not say fresh born baby. We do not say latest born baby. We say newborn baby. That is how we don't change what are the words used in it. We say it in the same way. And that's called fixed expression. Now, what's the difference between fixed expression and idioms? There is a big difference in it. You can see here, idioms are kind of fixed expression as they can't be changed. So in one sense, fixed expression and idioms have the similarity that they both can't be changed. All right, this here up to this point they are same. But then what's the difference? but their meaning is usually different from the combination of meaning of the individual words they contain. Meaning-wise, there is a difference. How? I give you an example. They also have given the example here, but I'll give you an example. A very famous idiom is there, don't beat around the bushes. Okay? I hope you have heard this commonly used, don't beat around the bushes. So what is the meaning of this idiom? The meaning of this idiom is to tell me straight away what is your point. Sometimes, you know, some people have the habit of round and round coming and not telling to the point what they want to say. And you can't figure it out what this person wants to tell me. So when that kind of situation is there, we say, don't beat around the bushes, tell me straight what you want to say. Now, when I tell this to somebody, it does not mean that in front of my table there is a bush and that person is standing next to the bush having a stick in the hand and beating around the bush. No. I mean different than what the idiom is. So that's what is the difference with the fixed expression of the idiom. In idiom, what we say, we don't mean that, we mean something different. We are pointing out something to the different side of that. But in the fixed expression, whatever we say, we mean that. If we say a newborn baby, so it means we are talking about a newborn baby, not something different. Or if we say she has got a newborn baby, then we means that the baby is just born a day or 2 days before, is a newborn baby. All right? But when we say idiom, it is different. If I say don't beat around the bushes, so I do not mean that you are standing near the bushes and beating it. But what I mean is that to tell me straight away what your point is. So that's what is the difference between idiom and fixed expression. Is that clear to you?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So now we will go ahead, and there is another word which is called, here you see, chunks. I am pointing it out, chunks. Okay. So chunks consist of collocation, fixed expression, and idioms. All these three things we call chunks. Is this clear? We say collocations, we say fixed expression, we say idioms. But when we say chunks, we mean all these three things. So we say use chunks in your language. And now this chunks has very much importance in the learning of language. And I'm going to give you an example of it. But first of all, you just tell me that this point is clear to you, that what collocation, fixed expression, and idioms, all these three are called chunks. Is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
All right. I don't see thumbs. Only one person is saying yes, sir, but the rest thumbs are okay. Lakmini thumb came up. And Ravindi, where is your thumb? Fine, thanks. Okay, the other side, because I can't see all of you on my screen, only 4 are. Kalpana thumb came up. All right. Fine, thanks. So now you try to understand what chunks are practically in the life. We learn our language, mother language, like you people, some you might have mother language Sinhala, some you might have mother language Tamil. So when you learn that language, you learn as a baby in chunks. Why? Because you listen to one word, two words, a sentence, a different expressions, the family people who are talking around you, and the baby learns those things and try to say those things. That is how we learn our mother language, through the chunks. We don't go waiting till they go to school and start learning a language. There we start learning English language, which is our second language. Our first language we learn at home in shape of chunks. Is this point clear to you? And later on we will be giving reference of the chunks time to time for the different things. Okay? So far just keep in mind that chunks consist of collocations, idioms and fixed expression. And we learn our first language, not only we, everyone around the world, they learn their first language as babies in form of chunks. All right, so now we will go to the next page and further we will talk about how we make meanings of the words in different ways. Now here you see words also have different relationships with one another. Now as the human beings, they have relationship with each other as a family, brother, sister, mother, father, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, colleagues, office colleagues, friends. All right. So likewise, words, they also have relationships, and we are going to talk about that. What are the words' relationship with each other? They may, for example, be synonyms. What is synonym? You know that very well. Commonly it is practiced. Words with the same or similar meaning, which called synonym, like or antonyms or antonyms, words with the opposite meaning. Then they may be part of same lexical set. Now this thing some of you may know, and those who do not know, pay attention to it. What is lexical set? Lexical set is group of words that belong to the same topic area. A group of words which belongs to the same topic area. How? For example, family. Now if you see family, there is father, mother, brother, sister, husband, wife, grandpa, grandma. All these are in the family. Uncle, aunt, cousins. But what do you call it as a whole? You call it family. So if you say, you pick some words like you say cousin, uncle, grandpa, grandma, father, mother, and you ask, what do you call these words in English language? So you will say these are lexical set because they belong to the same topic area. Likewise, you see furniture. Furniture, how many things are there in the furniture? Table, chair, bed, or cupboard, right? A lot of other things, sofa, okay, dining table, all these things are, you call that furniture. So if you see, all these are different from each other. Table is different than the chair, chair is different than the cupboard, cupboard is different than the bed. Their names are also different, but they belong to the same topic area which you call furniture. Likewise, vegetables, likewise fruits, likewise animals. So if you tell that, okay, lion, zebra, giraffe, okay, they belong to what in the grammar? What do you call all these? You say animals. Word animal belong to what? What do you call that? You call its lexical set. Is this clear? Is this point clear to you? All right.
Yes, sir.
Well, so let's go to the next point. The next point is word family. Word family. Word also have family. We have family as a human. Word also have family. Now, what's that? Words that come through affixation from the same base word. Now, affixation on the previous page we discussed. The process of putting a suffix or a prefix with a word, with a base word, is called affixation. So when we make more words out of one word, that is called word family. Like you see, if we say family tree, so the family tree starts with our forefather. Our forefather married to to women. Then there was some children of them. Then further those children, and in the end it comes to you. So you can put that in a family tree. And what you call all that? You call it family. So likewise, when we say word family, so the base word would be one. Out of the base word, we have made different other words. Like you see the example which they have given, real. Real is a word. So when we put a suffix with that, really, so it become a different word than real. Then realistic, another suffix we put and another meaning of a word. And then unreal, we put a prefix there and a different meaning. But if you see in all these words, the base word is same. That is real. Likewise, you say true, truthful, untrue, truly, all those words came out of true. So that is called word family. Word family, the words have a relationship with each other as a family. And the difference between word family and lexical set is that lexical set, the words have different shapes, different names, but only the topic area is same. But in the word family, we have the words which have a relationship with each other. One word is there which is in all other words it will be present. Is this clear? These two things to you? Lexical set and word family. Is it clear? Thumbs are not there. Okay, fine, thank you.
Sir.
Right, so now we will go to the next paragraph. Here comes false friends, homophones, homonyms, and varieties of English are other ways in which words can relate to one another. First of all, false friends. What is false friends? False friends are very important in the language teaching and learning. They are words which have the same or similar form in two languages, but a different meaning. In short words, what is false friends? False friend is one word which is used in two different languages with the two different meaning. I give you an example of the false friend used in Sinhala and in Tamil. In Sinhala we say tata to father, but the same tata we say in Tamil to grandfather. So word is same, but in two different language it has two different meaning. That is called false friends. Is that clear? You got this point?
Yes, sir.
All right, fine. So then we will go ahead and we'll see homophones. Here, homophones and homonyms are important too in language learning. What is homophones? Are words with the same pronunciation but a different meaning or spelling. For example, know. So K-N-O-W spelling, meaning is also different, and other side N-O, no. Different spelling, different meanings. Pronunciation is same. That is we call homophones. Then comes homonyms. Homonyms are words with the same spelling and pronunciation as another word, but a different meaning. Like they sat on the river bank. He put all his saving in the bank. So same pronunciation and same spelling, but different meaning of the bank. That is called homonyms. Word can also be related to one another through being example of different varieties of English. Now, what is varieties of English? Varieties of English is like different kinds of English spoken around the world. So, English is spoken around the world in different kinds, and to the one thing, different people around the world, they say different way. And varieties of English like Indian English, you might have heard it's a particular way of speaking Indian English. And when somebody speak English, you can say it's from India. Likewise, Australian. Sri Lankans are very much familiar with Australia because of the cricket. So you can see when the cricketer they speak in a different way. Likewise, US English, then South African English, British English. These varieties sometimes affect Lexis, as the same thing can be called by different names in different varieties. Now, Lexis is dealing with the vocabulary. Now, in these languages, they call one thing with the different names, like how, flat. British English we say flat, and even if you say in Sri Lanka, usually they say we use British English, but it's not. It is a combination of American and British. Okay, and mostly in practice, when we speak in Sri Lanka, we speak American English in the pronunciation way, not the British. Like if you see the word A and D, and we say and, we don't say and. And is British and is American. So in likewise a lot of other words, you know, they are which we say like you say stand, S-T-A-N-D, stand is American, not British. British is stand. All right. So, but when it comes to can't or can't, C-A-N-N-O-T. So American pronounce it can't in the contracted form, but the British say can't. So for that we use the British way, not the American way. But no, our English in Sri Lanka, it is mixture of that, and majority of the words we pronounce American way. Now, if you see flat, so in Sri Lanka, some they say flat, but very less. Maximum people they say apartment. Now, apartment is the US one, and British they call it flat. But what is it? Australian they call it unit. Unit nobody use in Sri Lanka. So this is how, for one thing, different language, English language which is spoken around the world, they call it different ways. Okay. Likewise, if you see cookie, cookies, so it is US. They call biscuit cookie. But here in Sri Lanka, we say biscuit. Biscuit is British. All right. So likewise, other things you will find a table here down, and in that they have given different these denotations, synonym, antonyms, lexical set example they have given to you. Okay. We will go to the next page now. I'll be sipping my tea because I'm speaking. You people are just listening. So I need to fresh my what is it, throat a bit. I hope you don't hear my sipping sound, which is sometimes irritated, you know. Right. Now, after the table, we can see from this table that the words sometimes have several denotations. The context in which we are writing or speaking makes it clear which meaning we are using. Words can also change their denotations according to what part of speech they are. For example, adjective clear and the verb to clear. We can also see from the table that not all words have all kinds of forms and meaning. Now, in the end, wrapping up the topic what we discuss here, we discuss about the Lexis. Lexis deals with the vocabulary. Now, in the vocabulary, in the Lexis, what we discuss, how we make different meanings of the words. So, first paragraph we discuss denotative meaning and figurative meaning. Second paragraph we discuss affixation and compound nouns. Third paragraph we discuss about collocations. Fourth paragraph we discuss about fixed expression and idioms, and chunks we call to fixed expression, idioms and collocation. All right. Then on the next page we discuss about the similar words, synonyms, antonyms, lexical set and word family. Then we discuss about the false friends, homonym, homophone, okay, and then variety of English. So that is what's the whole topic of you. I hope you have understood it. If there is any question, you can ask me now, or you can later on send me a text message to the WhatsApp, and I can clear you then and there, or if it is possible, or I can send you the message later on. So don't hesitate in asking anything, because it's a short course of 7 to 8 weeks time where you have to prepare a lot of topics. 18 topics we have to prepare in it. Okay, so if you get any kind of question, please do ask me. Right, so now we will go to the next area, which is called key concept and the language teaching classroom. So in this key concept, the things which we discussed in the key concept on the previous page, in the classroom, how we adopt that in our teaching methods. It will guide you. So the points which they give here, not necessarily all the points are dealing with your methods of teaching or your classroom environment. It may differ than that. So you can see that whether you can adopt those points in your teaching style or not. Sometimes you may not be able to adopt the whole, but then you can take the idea from there, and with some kind of changes you can adopt in your own teaching style. So it gives you idea of teaching in the classroom, how to put those things which we discussed already. All right, that's why if you see here, they say read these tips and tick the ones which are most important for you. Which are more important for you, tick that one. So it's an optional thing, but you have to go through it because it gives you a lot of knowledge about how to teach those points which we discuss in the main topic in your teaching methods. Number one, fully knowing a word involves understanding its form and meaning. When we want to know fully about a word, we need to know all its forms and meanings, in how many forms this word can be used, and what type of meaning this words can have in different forms and in different situations. All right. For example, what part of speech it is. Parts of speech, we will be discussing that in the grammar next week. How it is pronounced and spelled. All the meanings it can have. This cannot take place the first time a learner meets a new word. It takes learners a long time to fully understand and use a word. At first, they will probably just learn its most frequent denotative meaning, its spelling and pronunciation. So the point here they tell you, when you are teaching to the class which is at the basic level of learning of language, there you try to keep them to the denotative meaning, mean the original meaning. Don't give them different forms of the meaning there. Don't give them different words, categories in that. Don't give that. Keep them to the basic and one meaning. That is needed for those students who you are teaching initially. They are at the initial stage of the language, like children who are in the primary. All right, children who are in the lower secondary, but when they go to the upper secondary like grade 10, 11, 12, then they can understand different meanings of that. So that's what their point is here. Next one is, learners need to meet the same words again and again as they advance in their language learning. In this way, their memory of them will be consolidated. Underline this word, okay? And they will get to know more about the word. For example, other meanings, collocations, the lexical set are not part of it. They can meet words again in the text or in vocabulary extension activities. Activities, extension activity mean activities that give more practice, such as brainstorming, labeling, categorizing, making lexical set. Now, in the first point, we discuss about the student who are at the initial stage of the language. So to them, we have to keep them to the consolidate meaning, which is the original. But when it comes to the advanced level, there we have to give them different extended exercises and meanings and forms of the words. Why? Because they are at the advanced level. Now, here a word is consolidated. What do you mean by consolidated? When you make it more firm in students' mind, make them understand much more better. So what happens, for example, you teach one item of the language, then do you give some exercises to them, so they practice that exercise, okay, which we call control practice activity. Later on, we will discuss about what control practice activities are and how we do that, and at what stage of language. That we will discuss at a later part of this session. This session means not the today's class, the classes which is coming ahead. Right. So consolidate mean when we want to make a topic more understood, better understood in students' mind. We saying consolidating it. And we do that topic by consolidation, giving different exercises to them to practice more and understand it better. All right. Is that clear, the meaning of consolidation? And we also call it reinforcing. Reinforcing that. You can find the meaning in the the glossary which is to be sent to you. You can find unit-wise glossaries there. So easy to find the words. All these which is used here, you can find their definition and short examples there. Right. Next one is, whether we are learning our first or second language, we often recognize a word before we can use it, and we can often recognize the meaning of many more words than we can use. The words we recognize are called our receptive vocabulary. Underline that, receptive vocabulary. The words we can use are called our productive vocabulary. Underline these two things. What is receptive vocabulary? What is productive vocabulary? I'm coming to it. First of all, let me finish the para. A teacher usually teaches learners key important words and exposes them to many more. The learners pick these words up initially, only recognizing their meaning, then eventually using them productively. Now, receptive vocabulary. Receptive vocabulary means we can understand what the meaning of these words are. That is the receptive. Mean we have received it. We can understand it. Productive vocabulary, when we can use that word in different ways. That is called productive vocabulary. So there you know there might be the students, that happens usually with the students. They understand the word and its meaning, but they can't use that in a sentence. They can't use that fluently in language. So it means receptive uh, receptive is okay, but productive vocabulary is not there. Mean they can't use that in something. Is this point clear to you? Receptive and productive vocabulary. So now what happens when the teachers teaches them the receptive vocabulary is there, then further the teacher expose them different kind of exercises, tasks and activities in which the student practice it how to use these words in different ways. That's what they are telling you with this. But this problem usually comes after receptive and productive vocabulary while we are learning language. Next point is, as we can get part of their meaning from context, and context helps to show the meaning of words, it is useful to teach them in context rather than in isolation. Now, try to understand this point. It's an important point for the teachers. Word, usually we try to memorize them without understanding it how to use in a situation. So the Cambridge methods, they tell you that do not teach the words in isolation. Like you give a list of words and meaning and they are just memorizing word meaning, word meaning, word meaning. They say the better way is to give a context, like a situation, a story, something happening, so the students can understand the situation, something is going on, and then see the different vocabulary over there, the words. So they will understand it much better because those words are practically used in that situation. So that's what they say here. Always context means situation. Teach the vocabulary in context, not isolation, not just giving a list of vocabulary and memorizing it. But anyhow, in Sri Lanka, mostly students are memorizing it. Okay, so with the memorizing of the words, that is also needed, because if you don't memorize, how can you keep in mind? But along with the memorizing of the word, use of that is also needed in the context. Right. So, for example, through text, stories, description, even that they tell the students about. So, likewise, they can tell a story, they can use in some context that something is happening. So, they understand the meaning of that in a better way. Next point, we can use the relationship in meaning between words, synonym, lexical set, word families, etc., and the ways in which they can be built. Prefixes, suffixes, compounds to make activities to help our students extend their knowledge of the words. Making opposite, building words through affixation, brainstorming, lexical set and word family. Usually teachers are doing that. They do the games with the students. Okay, find the opposite meaning of it. So they give a list, the teacher tells a word and they give the opposite word, antonym. Similar one, okay, they give some words and they provide similar meaning. Likewise, lexical set. You ask the student, okay, let's see in 1 minute how many of you can write the names of the different animals. So lexical set they are practicing. Or how many you can write the names of different fruits. Okay. Likewise, one word the teacher gives a base word and they see how many words you can make out of it by affixation. So word family. In that way, these exercises and activities which is done, the student can enhance, extend their vocabulary and the meaning, rather than just memorizing words and all. You try to give that in these lexical set, word family, you know, opposite meanings, same meaning, homonym, antonym, all these sort of activities. You will find a lot on the Google. and you can download, and later on we will talk about it, how you aid that in your teaching methods. Right. The next point is, when we teach learners new words, we can check if these words have any false friends in their language. If these words have homophones, homonyms, or other they know, then then we can point this out to the learners and help them to save them from the misunderstanding. Now, this is usually can happen with the European languages and English, because in English there are a lot of words from the Latin and the Greek and the Dutch and from the German and from the French. So there, when you are teaching to the student in the Europe, you will find a lot of false friends, synonyms, and all these because the words are taken from different languages. It's difficult with the English language and our language of South Asians and Asian language to find false friends with the English language. But it is more applicable to the European student, this point. Next one is at beginner level and with young learners, we often teach general words for categories first, then gradually introduce different items from the category. For example, we may teach clothes before teaching jeans, shirts, t-shirts. So when it comes to the primary and preschool, so the point over here is that do not go in detail of the variety of the words, but just keep them to the main general word and general meaning of that. Why? Because the children at that age, they cannot understand different meanings of the words. So you have to general meaning of the main which is used. That much is enough for the small children. All right. So let's see if we got anything on the next page. Right. The next point here is a lot of language often occurs in chunks. Chunks which we talked on the first page. Collocations, fixed expression. Experts think that children learn their first language, learn the chunks as a whole rather than in parts. This helps them to remember them better and recall them more quickly. As teachers, we can highlight, draw learner notation to chunks language for learners. Now, children are very good at memorizing the chunks. So if we are teaching them the English language in chunks, it's a very effective method of making them used to the language. Like, for example, come here, go there, stand up here, don't talk. So when we say these words, phrases over and over again, they get used to that and they can use it easily. So we at initial stage, we need to give a lot of chunks in the language to them, like fixed expression, okay, and to say that for different things, and the children, they can pick up easily. Last point is, it is useful for learners to keep vocabulary records in which they record the meaning of the words and the parts of speech. Example. Now, that's the usual thing. A vocabulary record is needed unit-wise in the book. So the children need to know that in this particular topic, what are the new words, what are the expressions used, what are the collocation chunks are used in it, and they need to keep that, and they need to go through that, and the teachers need to ask from them about it. Then that is how you increase the vocabulary of the children. Most of the time the students, they are not maintaining it. Some teachers, they take it serious and some they don't give it. Okay, so how to enhance their vocabulary? This is also a method in which they make the record of that in a notebook unit wise. Okay, so that's it for the topic. Any questions so far you have, or any point you couldn't understand or you want me to revise it? Yes? No point at all? All right, one thing I want to tell you, as you finish the unit, you will have in the book follow-up activity. Can you see that? Follow-up activity. This
Yes.
follow-up activity you have to do must. Why? Because it gives you understanding in what we discussed in the unit. And it will give you a revision and it will test your understanding how much you understood the topic. You can find the answers of these on page number 238 in your book, and you can check yourself how much you understood it. Okay. After follow-up activity, you will find in the end of each unit, you see here Tkt Practice Task. The practice task which is given to you, it is given out of what we discuss. And it is given to you exactly the way it comes in the paper. So in the paper, you will be tested about the lexical, the Lexis unit, you will be tested in this way. If you can see that. And it's also the answers available on 245 page. Okay, you will find the answers. So these are the practicing for the test, which gives you the knowledge of the examination point of view, how you prepare yourself. So now in the lexical, they will be asking you question like this. And that's exactly in the paper, TKT paper, the question comes like this. For question 1 to 6, read the text about city of York, match the underlined words and phrases with the lexical terms listed A to G. There is one extra option which you do not need to use. So there is one extra option in it. The rest of the options you have to match. Here you see what is the underlined words, and what is it called. Like if you're looking for a cultural experience or a weekend break. Now weekend is a word. What is it out of these? Is it a compound, word family, lexical set, multi-word verb, synonym, word with the suffix or prefix? So now it gives you examination point of view practice about the topic which you just prepared. So you must do TKT practice task and the follow-up activity. Along with that, I will be sending you a worksheet, okay? So let me stop